Alright, Chapter 3, Movement Planning Foot Marches. The success of the march depends on the thrill of the planning with the most considered the mission, tactical situation, terrain, whether the participation unit of the successful march required to adhere the prescribed routes and time schedule with effective employ all available means of the transportation to execute assigned task. Immediately upon arrival at the destination, movement of the planning accumulates into the preparation issue of the standard operation, and when required for the annexes, written movement orders are rarely prepared at the company level. The chapter implements stagnant 2154 Edition 5, 31 planning. Marching planning is based on the planning conducted for the battalion level. It must be organized in IAW following the sequence to receive the mission, but then to receive the mission to conduct the road march. The planning processes begins with the commander staff of conducting hasty mission analysis to determine critical times and tasks to accomplish. The preparation of the issuance of the warning order to allow the subordinate orders the required time to prepare the pending of the movement. The warning order is which contains available the information about the march and planning time available to determine the time of the issuance of the content of the warning order. Estimates of the situation, operation estimates for the S3 conditions, considered mission, weather, terrain, time, and space factors that are available, the routes available, the transportation, enemy capabilities, disposition, own force, the physical condition, training tubes, course of the action available. The S3 recommends the commander which of the course of the action except for the based upon the commander's decision. The staff prepares the movement order. Field Manual 101.5.1 for the detailed discussion on estimated situation. Development detailed movements. After the commander has selected scores of action of the OPORD operation order, prepared for the developing these plans, but the commander and staff must consider the following. Column organization to facilitate the control scheduling unit for the organized and serial of the march unit with the given the order march. The march unit in the command with the move the halt and the command single commander. The march unit is normally corresponds in one small troop in the unit, one of the small troop units which such as a squad, section, platoon, or company. Or the March Serial, referred to as the Serial, consists of one of the more marches units organized under the senior officer given with a specific numerical alphabetical designation to facilitate the control. The march unit serially normally possess some of the same marching characteristics. Serially usually is a battalion larger unit with can be accompanied in marching alone. Marching column, referred to as a column, consists of the elements command with the moving over the same route and consists of one or more serial of the column commander is designated to facilitate the control of the column is normally brigade with a larger battalions alone. Order of the march. A tactical march order of the march depends on the mission terrain, probable order of the commitment and attack and to action moment mobility units march unit for the serials and placing the desired orders march and scheduling arrival of the march unit for the start point. The tanks. If tanks and infantry units are included in the march, they are interspersed throughout the column to facilitate integrated entry of the combat. Artillery mortars are placed forward throughout the column to ensure the support of the security force of the initial action of the main body. Air defense weapons are deployed throughout the column are moved by bounds to protect passage of critical points. Engineer units are located well forward with the facility movements for the force with the obstacles along the march route. Anti-tank weapons can be disposed of to provide protection throughout the column. Some anti-tank weapons may be employed to support the security force of the integration of these units or other combat supports or combat services supports or serve that have an adverse impact for the movements of the forces. March formation. The formation of the foot march varies depending on the routes available to the enemy situation. The usual formation of the tactical march of the column with the two files, one over each side of the road with a single file of the column commander and designated for the side of the road whence troops are in the march, whether the both sides of the road are to be used for the base of the enemy ground through the column forms into the route with the column, tactical column, and approach march. The route column. A route column is enforced when the likelihood of the ground contact with the enemy is remote. Administrative consideration govern movement there with the group and administrative the usually movement for the control of the commander normally moves to the head of the units for the information sometimes called an administrative column. Tactical column. A tactical column is enforced with the ground contact. It's possible the unit for the group of the tactical to permit the prompt adaption to the combat formation. Movement is usually conducted over the roads and trails of the fastest means available to march units. Establish load security. Security of the flanks. Dispersion depends on the enemy situation. Approach march. The approach march is enforced with the ground contact with the enemy. Intermittent with the tactical consideration cover those elements. Therefore, elements whose contact with the enemy likely adapt the suitable combat formation. The commander main concern is to bring superior combat power to the bear against the enemy to protect his forces against the private of the column. Establishes the guard for the front and flanks and rear of the large forces. Should establish covering the forces to ensure the unimpeded movement. Alright, march computation based on the strength of the formation rate mounted with the march unit for the path and time composed of the path, the time of the marching column with the place plus the necessary time of the distance computation to give the determination completion of the time of the march. 5. Road movement of the table draft. Using the march computation draft of the road with the movement of the table is completed. The command of the control of the commander established for the initial control of the march and designated control measure for the road movement order. For example, the control march all measures are start point and release point with the critical points along the march route with checkpoints, passage points, and so on. Time which the head of the tail of the column is to pass the start point and critical points. Rate of the march is order of the march, assembly with the biovac area, the location for the commander, with the communication unit during the march. Commander provides advanced quartering party with the guide with the routing, the market, traffic control, army, aviation, military police unit particularly suitable for the traffic control. 7. The plane check with the use of the drafted road, the movable of the table, the road, moving the graph with the movement planets, check to ensure the conform with the directive of the high headquarters of the battalion commander, instruction, tactical situation, the march order that should be contained with the statement that any situation where the visibility condition, if applicable, the road restrictions, the information pertaining with the route reconnaissance action of an enemy contact ground and air actions of the whole of the disabled vehicles action assembly area, the procedures of the resupply, maintenance and feeding location, and leaders and commander communication plans. Most of the information should be as part of the Union Standard Operation Procedure for exemption of the Standard Operations Procedure should be stated in the OPORD. Issuing of the road movement order for the march order is prepared with either the OPORD account annex for the OPORD example. The road movement contained with the Appendix D. The OPORD is written with the usually order with accompanied with the road movement table, the operation overlay with the trip map. Road movement table, the verb prepared with the annex to an OPORD provides serial commanders with the arrival and clearing for the time of the checkpoints. Along with the route of the march to provide with the column commander with information, also to propose the location amount the elements for the column various times. An operation overlay should location of the strength of the friendly force involved with the operation should show the present location of the unit, the route of march, critical points for the legal location of the unit, the destination. Strip map is a schematic diagram of the route marches should be landmarks, checkpoints of the distances between them, and can be issued as annex to the road movement in order in addition to the loop of the overlay. Administrative orders and annex can be cited with included with the OPORD. Administrative details too long and inclusion with the body of the order. After the organization dispatched a reconnaissance party with each marching plan is based on thorough condition ground reconnaissance in time with pertaining to the main map reconnaissance area reconnaissance for the help to formulate the plan with the non-substitute for the ground reconnaissance. The reconnaissance party performed the route of the reconnaissance usually consists of the reconnaissance element, engineering element with an engineering element from the attached support engineering unit with the traffic control element. The situation dictates the NBC survey teams may be included, but the reconnaissance part of the unit standard operation procedure established in the composition reconnaissance party which modify to meet the requirements for the specific march. Information required with the S3 from the reconnaissance party include the available routes and conditions. Routes may be specified with a higher headquarters recommendation rate of march. Standard procedure RPs, SPs and RPs selection for the confirmation with a suitable suitable with the selective of the map, reconnaissance confirmation assembly, biovac intervention area, checkpoints, location and route, the distance between the checkpoints of the route and legal for the distance to stay, SP and resting place, starting position, resting position, located obstacles and estimation soldier, the equipment needed to repair the maintain routes, normal guides but required for the route location. PART3, organization dispatch quartering party with the prepare with a new area with a systematic arrival of the unit with the battalion quarterly reconnaissance with the quartering party with commander, usually the HHC commander with the S4 representative with the common company representatives include the supply of the NBC personnel with the communication, security, and medical personnel with the coordinating party with the commander with the indicates the location of the major support units for the ground formulates the plan received with the ground guide unit for the RP with the area of the select with the exact location from battalion command, administer the installation based on general location of these areas selected with the S3. The company can represent the set of location company with the headquarters, platoon, feeding areas, kitchens, for the messes under the incumbent control and latrines. Communication personnel install the equipment that will ensure immediately control of the time units to arrival in the assigned area. The medical personnel should advise for other quartering party personal sanitation measure for the selected site of the aid of the station. Based on the order of the march plan is planned for the guide, each of the unit designated route. The route begins with the RP extended for the unit of the new area. The guides may understand that they must rehearse the plan to prevent the congestion and the delay of the RP. The actual dispatch and quartering party can follow the issuance of the movement of the order. Alright, 3-2, time and distance term factors. The planner must understand the march term for the develop the detailed movement of the plan determined along with the basic factor, distance, rate, and time of the transfer for the movement in the form of the formulas applied with the zone of the data to obtain the information needed to prepare the time schedule to use to regulate the departure or arrival of the march elements. The time distance relationship. Relationship between that time and distance are related to the march plan with the planner must determine how far the column is from the travel the distance, how long it will take to move the time, how much known with the place of the length of the column will occupy the route, how much of that also include the computation safety factor for the distance or for the road gap and the time gap must separate the marches of column, but their elements also each term of the U of the distance has been correspond with the term of the time. Length of the column is kilometers, and it has equivalent pass time of the minutes of the road, but the distance kilometers or miles has corresponding time and distance. Figure 3-1. Distance, length of the column, road space, column gap, march of the length unit, and pass time, time of the distance, road distance, RPs. Alright, average rates of the march foot troops day 4 of the 33 to 3.2 kilometers per hour, day 2.4 kilometers, night 1.6 kilometer days 20 to 32. Truck generals 40 days, 40 lights, 40 kilometers per hour by lights, 16 by dark, 12 by day, 8 by night. Track vehicles 24 days on road, 24 lights, 16 kilometers by night, 16 to 8 kilometers days, 240 truck driven drawn artillery 40 days on road, 40 on the lights and 16 blackout. Cross country 12 days, 8 by night, 280 kilometer days. Track drawn artillery 32 days on roads night, 32 by lights, 16 by blackout. Cross country days 16 and 8 night and kilometers by the day 240. Checkpoint. The checkpoint are on route with these points with the U, but the reference providing instruction for the play for the time of the critical feature of the route reconnaissance report of the map study that should provide with the marching planner with the information for the designated checkpoints along the route of the march distances from one checkpoint to another. Once identified with the guides and signs that usually sufficient, the commander may want to present the passing of some of the checkpoints starting with the points release points or checkpoints that are always designated. Start points that provide with all the units of the marching column with the column point with the starting of the movement when the units of more one route in route starting point or release point. Starting point and the starting point is along with the route march are easily reconcilable with the map and the ground such as the road intersection. The standard point should not be in defile on a hill or over a sharp curve of the road, and it should be far enough away from the assembly areas to allow the units to organize to move within the prescribed speed interval between the start point reach. And no element of the marching column should be reached from the mere march to the rear of the route through another unit in order to reach the starting point. Or your release point. The release point provides all the units of the march column of the common point with the reverting to the control of the parent of a unit with the release point should be on the route with the march easily recognized with the map of the ground. Units that do not stand with the release point, good guides might meet units for the area arrive with the release point. They let them into new areas, multiple routes, and cross-country move with assemble the areas and enable them to disperse rapidly. In selecting release points, units should be avoid hills, defiles, and sharp curves. Units should not require for the counter march pass through another unit at reach of its new position. Distant factors of foot or motor march. The battalion normally organized in the company side of the marching unit facility control to maintain unit integrity. The normal march formation column of the twos. Normal distance of 2 to 5 meters between the soldiers. 1 to 3 meters at night. 50 meters between the platoons. 25 meters at night and 100 meters at the company. And companies of 50 meters at night. The vehicle individual distance with the space between the two consecutive vehicles. Individuals organized element of the column gap. The space between the two organized elements following each of the same route is calculated with the units length of the units the measure for the rear air one element of the front of the following element. 3. The traffic density of the average number of the vehicles that occupy 1 mile, 1 kilometer of road space expressed in vehicles per mile or vehicles per kilometer. The length of the column, length of the roadway occupied with the column will include the gap the column measured from the front of the rear, inclusive of the road gap, the distance between the two march elements, and the length of the accepted of the column gap. Since it was more significant when the column is moving from when it's in halted, the road gap becomes a factor of the time rather than distance. Rate factor. Speed indicates the actual rate of speed of the vehicle. Foot column of the given amount is shown with the speedometer in kilometer per mile per hour. Our place of regulated speed with the common element established below vehicle. The individual lead element will maintain the prescribed average speed. The foot march for the normal pace of the 30 inch for the cadence for the 106 steps per minute. The commander considers all the factors affect with the march of the select of the rate will pay for the destination, short time of the combat ready condition. The unit with standard operation procedures usually stay for the rate of the marches of the road in the cross country over the normal terrain day and night. See Appendix A with the column commander modify the rate of with his need with the which of the varies greatly in the mountain, jungle, desert, Arctic areas. Rates of march is usually prescribed in normal training as follows. The day is 4.4 kilometers per hour cross country, 2.4 kilometers, and limited visibility 3.2 kilometers per hour and 1.6 kilometers cross country. All right, marches conducted with the mountains, jungle, the desert, with the northern areas characterized with the following: physical efforts of the individual increase, the soldier load should decrease, potential time increase, the time of active measure, the time include the total time needed of the unit of the complete of the march to pass with the leader point along the designated route. The time is usually measured in minutes or hours. The variable arrival time of the head of the column arrive at the designated point or line. The clearance of time with the tail of the column because of the point of the line. Completion time with when the time of the tail of the column passes the release point. Pass the time of the past time PST, the actual time between the moment with the first element passes the given point and the movement of the last element passes the same point. Alright, 5. Road clearance time of the total time of the column required for the travel over the clear of the section road with the road clearance of the time equal to the time distance column plus the column pass time. The time the distance is TDIS, the time required to move in the one point of another, given the rate of the march, normally represented with the movement of the head column from the start point with the release point. Time of the gap measured for between the rear and the front with the successive elements must have movement of the pass given the point of the time of this aspect of the column gap of the conversion of the road gap time. Therefore, there are noted to prescribe time of the gap. The gap depends on the size of the serials marching in for the time available for the movement and tactics required for the protection against the area and nuclear attack. Alright, march computation. Before using the operation order of the S3, they must compute the required time and specified measurement to prepare the road movement table. The distance, the rate, and the time of the factor of the movement. The computation of the two factors are known. The third can be easily determined by dividing the multiple of one known factor by the other. The rate is determined by dividing the distance by the time. RTD, R equals distance over the time. The distance found with multiplying the rate and time. Distance equal to the time of the rate times the time, and time is calculated by the distance by the rate. The march of the player must be determined the path of the time, distance, arrival time, the completion time, the time distance, or TDIS, is determined with dividing the distance for the travel, the rate of the march. The time distance does not include the time for long time delays and extended scheduled halts. The time distance in hours is equal to the distance kilometers and rates. The time distance is available to some valuable source for the march plan, but it provides this factor to calculate the time required for the traveling at a certain speed. For the specific speed of either vehicle or on foot, the travel the routes are experienced with foot and foot speeds corresponding to the rate of the march. The travel the factors are derived of the rate of the march, which includes the time of the short period of the halt, or the other minor delay for the can occur with the length of the column. The length of the column is usually determined the pass. The time and column that consists of the two parts of the space occupied by the soldier allowed alone include the distance between the soldier, sum of the distance between the elements of the foot column with the column gap. The total length of the column is sum of the two parts of the foot elements. Foot elements, the length of the column soldier only will determine multiplying the number of the soldier by the appropriate factors selected here from table 3.1, but it does not include the distance between the troops of the length of the column that equals the number of soldiers times the factor plus the column gaps between the units. The factor formation, second man, 2-man and 5-man 2 mile, 2.4 to 5.4, and columns of 1.2 to 2.7. The length of the column is in meters. Alright, total distance. Total distance of the column gap between these is obtained with the foul. Determine the number of the serial distance. Total serial with the minutes of the minus 1. Determine the number of the march for the unit for the total march unit. 1 minus 1 minute minus the number of the serial distance. Serial distance is multiple of the number of distance obtained with the length of the meter between the respective units after the result. Example: the battalion foot column is organized with the 12 platoon size for the marching team with the 3 company size serial required for the total gap of the distance shown around there 100 meters between the serial of the 15 meters between the marching unit. The serial distance of 3 minus 1 8 times 100 equal to 200. Marching units equal to 12 minus 1 minus 2 8 times 50 is 450 for the column gap of 650 meters. The pastime serial is determinately adding marching to the units for the pastime include the gap between the marching units foot columns and pastime that is determined applying the following formula. Pastime minutes the length of the column factors for the appropriate rate of the march. Examples are 150,000 to 4 kilometers, 180,000 to 3.2 kilometers, 250,000 to 2.4 kilometers, and 375,000 to 1.6 kilometers. Determine the pass time of the unit, whether the length is 1,500 meters of march rate at 4 kilometers per hour. Pass time minutes is equal to 1,500 times 115,000 is a factor of 4 kilometers per hour to 22.5 minutes. And marching plane with the release point of the normally designed as the termination point of the movement. The arrival time at the release point is determined by the adding the time distance any long with the scheduled holds to the starting point. Example, distance arrival at the 0 point of the starting point of the 800 hours at the time distance for 6 hours and 45 minutes scheduled the halt of 1 hour. The starting point is 8 hours. 8 hours. Total distance is 645 minutes. Scheduled halt is 1 hour. 15 and 45 minutes, 15 hours and 45 minutes. Arrival at 1545 hours. Completion of the time calculated adding the pass time of the arrival of the time, adding the standard start time, the distance past any long scheduled halt for the other normal hourly halts. Or determine the completion of the time of the serial with the arrival time of the 15 before 1600 hours. The pass time of 41 minutes. Arrival time 1545 minutes. Pass time 41 minutes. 1587. 15 hours and 86 minutes. Completion of 1626 hours, 26 minutes past 1600 hours. Example 2, determine the completion of the time. The start point with the 8 hours of the time distance, 6 hours and 45 minutes. The pass time of the 41 minutes. Schedule for the half hour, 1 hour. Start point with 8 hours, time total distance 6.4, 600 hours and 45 minutes. Pass time at the 41 minutes. Scheduled halt 1 hour, 15 hours and 86 minutes. Or 26 minutes past 1600 hours. Based upon the arrival of the movements of the unit of the day of their accumulated foot march of the plan with such day and included the approximate pass time of the various elements of the battalion with this S3 can use the data either with the computing with each of the time of the march and schedule with such experience table to reduce the time required to complete the computation phase of the march, planning information with the appropriate unit with the standard operation procedure being integrated and Alright, 3-4, road movement attainment. The road movement attainment is usually annexed the movement over the conveying the means of the transmitting the time schedules or other essential details movement of subordinate units. Table particularly used for the preventing complication with the operation order of the creating the unusual operation order of the movement of the table that consists of 2 parts. Data paragraph that includes general information common to 2 more march elements. List of serial of the march along with the with all the required information arranged with the tabular former. Data transfer of the road move with the graph of the other particular important of the march plan of the time of the material of the march for the units to provide the clear critical points. Other information from the road movement table to include the serial march of the unit, the number, the clear of the data of the units involved with the marching vehicle, the load of the class of the highest vehicle, the route for the use of the remarks for the section details not explained elsewhere. Our example of the road movement table. 3.5, the strip map. The strip maps and section of the route of the march is normally included the annex and movement over figure 3.3. Enough strip map must be reproduced to give the key for the personnel, including the vehicle command for the guide roads. The amount of the detail of the plan upon the purpose of the strip map at the unit level that was prepared. The strip map contains the start point and release point, restriction critical point, the distance between them. Alright, Chapter 4, Execution of Foot Marches.